Good morning, everyone. Hey, Ronnie.
Hi.
Come on, Ronnie. You flew all the way in from Philly. You
Yeah.
give a more enthusiastic.
Hello,
There you go. All right. Welcome to Adobe Live. My name is Terry White, and I'm here with Ronnie Alley. And Ronnie, you're going to be doing some graphic design today, I hope.
Yes, I am.
So welcome everyone in the chat. I see Scott, I see Jan, I see Valter, Akash, Mitch, and that famous guy, Adobe Live, Tim, and everyone else, Brian, Heidi. I could go on, but you guys get the idea. We are live, and we're here in San Francisco, and we're going to be doing graphic design for the next 3 days, starting in just a few minutes. I am happy to be hosting Ronnie Alley. We've been catching up this morning, learning a little bit about his background. We're going to share some of that today. And we're going to do some giveaways. Someone just presented me with some socks and some pillows. So we got all kinds of cool stuff. And Ronnie's laptop, I think we're going to donate that too.
Yeah. Giving it away.
So cool,
really.
cool. No, we're not giving away the laptop. All right, so Ronnie, let's start off with, where are you from?
I am from Philly right now. Originally from Tyler, Texas, but I've lived all over America.
Wow.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
And I asked you this earlier, but they weren't here. So how did you get started in graphic design?
Well, I originally started in architecture because, like I said, I'm from Tyler, Texas, which is like a small town, and I didn't know that graphic design existed until I went to college. And then first 2 years in college were done in architecture, and yeah, I started making boards for like presentations for the projects and stuff, and I really liked doing that. And then I kind of realized that my mind didn't work in 3D as well as it did in 2D, so I switched to graphics.
My mind works in 3D. My hands don't. It's just doing the actual work is harder.
Yeah.
But that's great. And so how long did you say you've been doing this? Or did you?
I guess I started in 2013.
2013. Okay.
So 5 years?
Cool.
Yeah,
Cool. So you
that's
got a
crazy.
little bit of practice under your belt.
Yeah, a little bit.
So we're going to switch over and you can show us a little bit of your work. Let's
Okay.
get to Ronnie's laptop here.
Cool. Yeah. So what do you want to talk about?
Well, you tell me.
Okay.
What do you want to talk about?
Let's talk about my sister's thing. So my sister is a hairstylist. She just graduated from beauty school, and so she needed a brand for her personal business that she's going to eventually start. Most of this is just mock-ups for now, but it's like all in place for her to get going when she's ready for that.
So you designed this for your sister?
Yeah.
Okay, got it.
Yeah. So it's called Looks of Tila Ann or Lota, and she wanted it to be.
That has a very nice 3D look to it.
It does, yeah. But she wanted something. She's like very much a girly girl, so she wanted it to be very fun and friendly and colorful and like as bright as her personality. So we chose to go with these gradients, which are also representative of like makeup pads, because she's also does makeup too.
Just out of curiosity, is that Illustrator mesh?
No.
So those are just straight up gradients.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah. And then we went with this, I forgot what it's called, variable logo? A logo that can change.
Okay.
Just to add some personality to it. And then this would be like a book that you could get whenever you're like sitting, waiting in the lobby or something, just talking about the studio culture and then prices for the haircuts and such. And yeah. And then these are just some posters that could potentially, there's another picture, I think, on
So
here.
Daniel says, nice color gradation. Catalin says, love the colors. Reminiscent of Siri. Yep, I agree. I hadn't thought about that, but that does remind you of Siri, especially on the new HomePod.
Yeah. Yeah, and then this is like more of the stationary system, and these would be like the posters if they were to actually.
I love that.
Yeah.
Nice. And so that's a mock-up, not the actual.
Yeah, these are all
Okay,
mock-ups.
good.
Yeah. But yeah, so that's that. Something else we could.
So
talk
what
about.
inspired you to come up with these particular concepts? You said she's a girly girl, and and you like the gradients and the colors, and she did as well, I'm sure.
Yeah, one of the first things I do whenever I'm starting a project is I make the client, or myself if I'm the person initiating the project, create a list of 10 adjectives that they would use to describe themselves, and then from there I either make a word web from those adjectives, like thinking of more adjectives I could describe, and then trying to think of visual ways to like combine all those words
Well, you're
together.
getting all kinds of love in the chat. Love the way you incorporated the icons from the logo and the images. Very realistic mock-ups. I agree, Daniel. They are very realistic. Thumbs up from Kai. Will this be available later? Yes, it will. I assume you mean the stream, not his work.
Yeah, for sure.
And good morning, design student and Dana Pride. Welcome.
Cool.
All right. So tell us a little bit about what we can expect from you for the next 3 days.
So I'm going to be working on my personal identity, which I can pull up here too.
It's rad.
Yeah, Ronnie Alley design. I got lucky with my acronym. So
Not so lucky. TLW doesn't really do much.
yeah. So yeah, I'm going to be working on my redesign of my personal brand. It's been a couple years since I created this. I did this right before I graduated college. So now I want to just like modernize it a little bit, change the colors a little bit. I'll still be using a lot of the same techniques when making this stuff, and it's going to be kind of the same vibe, but like just a little bit different, a little bit more modern.
Very cool.
Yeah.
All right, so people that are watching live, especially on behance.net/live, you guys will be able to participate in a couple of ways today. You'll be able to participate in a giveaway just by being here and being vocal in the chat. That Adobe Live person will pick a winner, and hopefully I'll see it to announce the winner. But we're going to give away nice items like this, but you can also participate in the design contest. So you'll be able to design an album cover. I believe the fictitious band is called San Fran. I didn't pick it, but that's the fictitious band. And you guys can begin the process of starting to mock up what that album cover would look like. And I'm gonna give you a bit.ly link to submit that to. I think it's bit.ly, bit.ly/Adobe or submit Adobe, I believe is it. Don't quote me on that until I actually show it. But so there will be a design challenge for you guys to, for the design challenge, you can mock up your own. Okay, so Patricia's already asking a question. Yes, you can mock up your own. And yep, we're gonna give, okay, so Adobe Live's in there in the chat kind of answering those questions as well. So we're gonna do that design challenge a little bit later today. We'll show some of the entries, and Ronnie's gonna pick the ultimate, there it is. Ronnie's gonna pick the ultimate winner for this. So just to let you know what's going on for the rest of the week, Ronnie's here today from 9 to 11. From 11 to 1 will be Chantel. And then I'll be back from 1 to 3 with Annie Hall. So full day of packed graphic design coolness that we're going to be going through. So lots of good stuff. And Ronnie, I think it's time we get started.
Cool. Okay.
So you're going to tell us what you're doing and why you're doing it. And they're going to ask questions, and I'm going to try and field both and kind of keep things going today.
Okay, cool. So like I said, every time I start a project, I make a list of adjectives. So here are my adjectives over here that I want my brand to have. I want it to be clean. I want it to have impact. I want it to be refined, colorful, systematic, exciting, and fresh.
Question.
Yes.
Okay, you come up with the adjectives, then you start working.
Yeah.
Do the adjectives ever change based on where you see the project going?
I have already eliminated one adjective.
Okay.
So yeah, a little bit, but
A
I
little
try
bit,
to
but you try
keep
and
them
stick
there.
to them?
Yeah,
Okay.
and I always want to keep them near where I'm working, so I can always go back to them to make sure I'm still like staying with where I wanted to originally like see this go.
And where do you even get the inspiration to come up with the adjectives?
My head. I guess I don't know.
Good place to start.
Well, I think of since this is my personal brand, I'm like, what does my design style embody? What do I want to embody as a designer, and what do I want my brand to be?
Cool.
So, yeah.
All right, continue.
Yeah. And then from there, I went to Behance, which is where I usually get most of my inspiration from, and I made this mood board based off of some projects that I liked, some color palettes that I like, some different kind of avenues I want to go down. My last one was heavy on the illustration part, with lots of patterns and colors and everything, and this one...
Natalie says she loves the mood board.
Oh, cool. If you see your project on here, tell me. They're all from Behance, so... yeah, and then I want this new system to be a little bit more typographic, but still kind of making these patterns with the typography. So I'll show that in a second. And then on the bottom, I have some color palettes that I pulled from these that I want to go with.
And Daniel's asking, does Ronnie do brand, is that archetypes? Archetypes?
I don't know.
I don't know what that
Do we
is.
have a definition? No, just kidding. I have used Adobe Color in the past, but I don't anymore. Oh, Harrison Chambers.
And Daniel's asking the question that I had as well, which is, how do you pick your colors?
Because
that's one of the things I always struggle with when I'm starting something from scratch.
Well, I love to embrace color, so I like to have a full spectrum.
Mm-hmm.
Unless sometimes I do. It really depends. Like, for this, I want this to have a lot of variability, so I did want the full spectrum. I always have a black and a white, but they're never fully black or fully white. It's always usually like a dark, cool gray or like a warm white or something like that. And then for the rest of the colors, I tried to pick something all from over the spectrum, I guess. And then they obviously have to match pretty well.
So you're literally picking your your colors custom, just like starting with this color and then the next color?
Well, and I look at inspiration too, like what have other people done? I'm like, oh, I like this yellow with this orange, but I don't want this exact yellow, so I'll tweak it to match this other blue that I liked in this thing.
Nice.
And then I make them all kind of mesh together.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, yeah. I guess I can show what I've started so far. I started some sketches with my Ronnie Alley design stuff. So far I've only used one font. I'm gonna break out into some more fonts. But I'm really liking this. I know it's kind of trendy, but like this new like grotesque extended type that's been going on.
Show me an example of that. Which one is that?
All of these. This is all the same font. Yeah.
Same font.
Hold on, I can show you another one too.
I told you I'd put you on the spot today.
I know. Hold on.
All right, while you're doing that, so Dana's asking, did you design your own font?
I have before, and I'm gonna try to do that today if time allows for it. I used to do it a lot more when I was in college just because I had the time to, but now that everything's a little bit more quick paced in the real world, I don't have time to like make my own fonts. But yes, I have in the past. What is it called?
Lots of love out there for Adobe Color and Adobe Capture, which those are tools that I use as well to kind of pick a color palette to start with. And Desmond, hello in Los Angeles.
Oh, so here's another one of those
Okay.
grotesque ones. They're just like kind of weird and like kind of breaking some rules, doing some things that they shouldn't be doing, but I kind of like that. It adds like
Come on, rules,
personality
rules
to
are so,
exactly.
10
Rules are
years
made
ago.
to be broken. So yeah. I feel like this one is a little bit more tame version of this, but this is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Both of these also found on Behance. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right, continue.
Okay, so I guess I'll just get started. So one of the things I wanted to do was make like a texture with all the letters from my name and kind of make a pattern out of it.
All right. While you're doing that, I'm going to get set up to show something real quick here. Just a second. Let me get it ready. People are asking, or not asking, but commenting on something, so I want to show it to the benefit of people that don't know about it. Let me get started here. Let's do this. And let's do that. And let's switch to this. All right, cool. Let me make sure I've got the right library chosen.
My computer keeps freezing.
Okay, so I saw lots of people asking about, or just not asking, but commenting on Adobe Color and Capture. So Capture is actually one of the ways to create colors for Adobe Color or just your own personal library. Capture is a free app for your iOS or Android devices. So you can go to the App Store and grab it, it's free. You can go to the Google Play Store and grab it, it's free. But once you log in with your Adobe ID, especially if you are a Creative Cloud customer, then you'll be able to sync your color palettes that you capture around you to your library and then use them right in your applications. So for example, if I bring up Adobe Capture here, I see a bunch of color themes that are already in this particular library. Matter of fact, I was on Behance.net/live yesterday, and I created the Wild Colorful. That was one that I created in InDesign from a photograph. But If I wanted to, for example, capture the colors here on these nice Adobe socks, I could hit the plus sign. That'll bring up the camera. And as you can see, it's automatically just randomly picking colors from this particular photo, depending on where I hold it. Now, if there are colors that I specifically want, you don't have to work at random. In other words, you can actually move these samplers around. So I want that orange, I want that red, I want this blue, and it will magnify it for you so that you get those specific colors. And of course, you can continue to move things around. I want this green. So that way I'm getting the exact colors that I want from this particular scene. Let's grab the white already, but maybe I want the gray instead. And once I get that color palette, I can go ahead and just tap the OK or check mark. I can even tweak them if I want. So like you mentioned, if it was a particular color that you wanted to tweak, you would not make it the exact color that you saw. You just tweak it a little bit, which is a fairly new feature here in Capture. You can also choose between RGB and CMYK in different color spaces. And of course, you can save it and name it. So I can name this one, let's name it Adobe Socks, since that's where it came from. Or I should say Creative Cloud Socks. All right, I spelled it wrong, but that's okay. Done, save. And now that color palette has been, or that color theme, I should say, has been synced up to Creative Cloud. So if I go back to my computer now, and I go to that same library, and I bring up my color themes, it's syncing. I can see the little circle there spinning, and once that syncs over, that color theme should show up here. So we'll give it a few seconds to do that. And Ronnie's already working on some new type I can see over there. We'll just give this a second. Syncing, 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 syncing. It's doing it. All right, let me look at the chat while we're waiting for that. Yes, Adobe Socks. What Janet is asking, what motivates you to be a designer?
Just creativity in general, working my mind in a way that, I don't know. I don't really know what else I would be doing. Design's just kind of like my thing, I guess.
Very cool.
Is that a lame answer?
All right. Yes, Adobe Capture is awesome. I agree, especially for the price. All right, so we're going to switch back to me. It finally popped up there. And there it is. So now I can use those colors in any of my applications. So my Creative Cloud application. So if I switch over to Illustrator and I were to pull up that same library, let's go to the window menu. Let's go to window menu, and there's my libraries panel is already there. Oh, it's already there. Sorry about that. Color themes, there it is as well. So that way, the colors that I grab from the Adobe Socks can then be used throughout my entire design process. Whether I'm in Photoshop, Illustrator, InDesign, Muse, After Effects, Premiere Pro, you get the idea. All right, back to Ronnie.
Cool.
All right, so tell us. I see what you did. Tell us why you did it.
I just wanted to make. Oh right, I have another first thing I want to do.
Okay.
Anyways, I wanted to make some kind of texture for the back of my business cards. I also want each business card to be different, and so, well, not each business card, but I want to have like a set of business cards that are all different, and I kind of want them to be heavily typographic. So I'm going to make some kind of pattern texture thing with all the letters in Ronnie Alley design. So I started by making it fill the space like this, which I'm also kind of digging how that looks by itself.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, now I just kind of broke it apart, left the RAD and solid, and then switched to lines for this to make the rad pop.
Very cool.
Yeah, and I'm thinking, I just remembered, I'm going to have like one systematic logo that'll be the same for everything, and then I'll always just have it like in this bottom corner or something. But
how often do you redesign your own brand?
Well, this is my first time redesigning it, and it's been 2 years since I first made it, so probably going to be like every 2 years-ish. Keep it
Every
fresh.
2 years or so. Okay,
Yeah.
got it.
And just until it's stale.
So do you ever just like wake up one day and see something cool and say, hey, it's time to redesign my brand, or you kind of keep it to a length of time?
Actually, yeah, I started noticing other people's brands being like really inspirational about a year ago, but I was like, man, I just bought more business cards. I shouldn't redo my brand just yet.
There is a cost involved.
Yeah. Yeah, but now I'm like, it's time. So,
Very cool.
yeah.
Yeah, there is always a cost involved. All right, I see one design challenge album cover has already come in, so keep them coming.
So I'm also like a perfectionist, so I might go like a lot of back and forth on this. But
That's okay. And Yenny says, great, I ended up here looking for a tip for working with Photoshop. Well, welcome to Adobe Live, and hopefully you will continue to watch and continue to be a part of it. Okay, and Paul is asking, do you have any tips for finding the right designer name for you?
well, you have to be original. It has to make a point. It also can't be taken already. I find that some of the most memorable names that I've seen are just really weird and kind of out there. Like one of my favorite studios is studio My Name is Wendy, and they're from Paris, and they do really cool stuff. Okay. And like
memorable, yeah.
I just like their name, and it was
my
a good
name
way
is
to
Wendy.
remember it.
Got it.
Again, with mine, I got lucky with how my name kind of spells out rad. So
yeah,
it's
you did get lucky there.
You could also do something that just inspires you and something you want to like kind of capture with your brand. I don't really know an example off the top of my head, but whatever you want to exude, I guess.
Now, do you ever, so I see you just basically rearranging the letters to maybe get a design that you're looking for. Do you ever tweak the actual glyphs themselves? Do you actually like?
Sometimes.
Okay.
Yeah. If it calls for it, or if I want to do something really weird, which I am gonna try to do. I've never used the warp tool in Illustrator before,
Okay.
and I kind of want to play with it today.
All right.
So, yeah, when the time comes. Yeah.
All right, so someone's asking, can I recap what the design challenge was? So the design challenge for today is to create an album cover from a fictitious band called San Fran. So that's it. As a matter of fact, let me pull, I see some entries already here. Let's see if I can pull one of these up real quick. And we can kind of see what we've got going here.
Cool.
Okay, so if we can switch to me for just for a second. So here's a sample of one of the entries. So kind of minimalistic look.
Mm-hmm.
Nice use of color.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, and so that's an album cover for that fictitious band called San Fran. All right, back to Ronnie. So we'll be showing these throughout, and then we'll have Ronnie kind of pick his favorite for this segment.
So now I want to work on like the one logo that I'm going to use on everything. So I don't know if I want it to have that much like personality to it, because like I kind of want like the back of the business card to really be like screaming and it to be like a little subdued.
All right.
Yeah.
So Michael's asking the kind of, I think I asked you this in a different way earlier before we got on the stream, but what do you do when you have a creative block? And I asked you, like, what do you do when you get stuck and you wake up in the morning and you just don't have an idea? And
I usually just take a break from whatever I'm doing if I know that it's not working in my head and like I'm just really struggling with getting something done. I just take a break. I take a walk. I go outside. I read a book or anything, because one of my professors in college taught us that if you step away from a problem, your like subconscious mind still tries to figure it out, but you don't have to like stress over it or anything. And then when you come back to it with fresh eyes and a relaxed mind, it's usually easier to get back on task.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay, and let me make sure I get the right URL up here. Just hang on 1 second. Someone's asking how to submit their album cover design. So I just want to verify that I have the correct URL. And yep, I was right. Copy link. Let me get this up on the screen so you guys can see it in just a second here. White type on a white background, usually very hard to see, so let's change that. Let's not make it a script font. And let's make that a little smaller. All right, hang on, let's just get it all up here at once. Design challenge. Create an album cover for the fictitious band San Fran. You know when you're spelling a word wrong and you know it's wrong? It's like, I know that's wrong. Let me see if I can spell that right. There we go. GoodOldDictionary.com. All right, let's move this over. I'm spending way too much time designing this simple thing for the stream. All right, coming up. Hang on. Here we go. All right, switch to me for a second. So here's your design challenge. Create an album cover for the fictitious band San Fran, and the link to submit it is bit.ly/submit Adobe. So I'll keep this handy in case people ask about it later, but this is it. This is how you're going to submit your entries. They will come to me magically over the internet via a spreadsheet, and I will show them as we receive them, or we're going to take a break at a certain point and show a bunch of them so Ronnie can have his head wrapped around which one he thinks is going to win. All right, so that's your submission, that's your task, that's your job to do while Ronnie's designing. You can be designing as well and be entered to win some really cool prizes. All right, back to Ronnie.
So yeah, I'm being a perfectionist right now.
That's okay. Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, I'm trying to get the E to line up with the N, and yeah, we'll get there.
Someone said logos, that's what I suck at right now. Yeah, I feel you.
Don't be so hard on yourself.
And Daniel, yes, that is how you spell fictitious. I was off by one letter. I almost had it. Lisa says, sup, Ronnie?
Hi. Okay, cool.
She almost said that like she knew you.
I know.
Yeah, Lisa Harris.
I don't know you, but hi.
Wow, you're even doing your own custom dash.
Yeah.
that's hardcore. When you're that picky about your logo,
I am.
That's when you're doing it right.
Yeah, I don't know if it wants to be that close. Cool. Kind of liking that. Keep that. Oh, so also I don't delete anything. if anyone wanted to know. I just copy and then start over again.
So what do you mean you don't delete? So you just keep it all just in case?
Yeah, because I also typically sketch more in Illustrator than I do like in my sketchbook, just because I'm kind of used to it more, and I don't think it's a good idea to erase anything, because like in 10 minutes I might be like, oh man, I kind of do end up liking that thing that I deleted, and I'm like, what did that look like again, or how did I solve this problem yesterday, blah, 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 blah. But yeah.
Very cool. Daniel Lecture M Dash.
Thanks.
Hello, Carolyn. And Nadia doesn't delete anything either. You know, if you ever want to just recreate something, delete it. Then that'll be the one thing you wish you'd kept, and you have to recreate from scratch.
Should have thought of some fonts earlier, but that's okay.
Oh, that's okay. We're seeing your process. Sometimes I have a love-hate relationship with my font list. I love it at times, especially now that the application's, by the way. So you see those stars on the left side of his font menu? Those are for marking favorites. So a lot of times I'll just, if I use a font and I like it, I'll mark it as a favorite. So that way all my favorites are at the top. Or I can just filter on them so that I'm not having to scroll the entire list every single time. So filtering helps. You can also filter on sans serif, script, serif, so forth and so on. So you can also type in the name of the family or the fact that you're looking for heavy or thin or thick. You can type in just natural words like that to narrow the font list down for the kinds of font you're looking for. So Photoshop, Illustrator, and InDesign's font list has gotten a lot better and easier for searching for fonts that you're looking for. Daniel, yes, the favorites definitely helps.
Yeah.
Because it just, again, so you don't have to scroll the whole list every time.
Okay.
Alicio, welcome from Italy.
Cool.
Yes, Laura, I have heard that before. I will do my impression at some point. And Janek's asking, which MacBook are you using?
This is a 2014 MacBook Pro.
We have the same one.
Nice.
Yeah.
It was a great computer.
It was. It is.
It is, yeah.
It was. We're using them. They're great.
Yep.
All right. And someone's asking, do you sketch, scribble before actually designing in Illustrator? And I see your sketchbook over there.
I do. It's all scribbles. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know if we can show
Yeah,
it,
we can. I think the GoPro's hooked up, isn't it?
Okay.
All right. So if you can pass me the GoPro and pass me your sketchbook, we can, or you can show us.
Yeah.
And we're going to just go ahead and there we go.
Yeah, so it's all, again, here are my adjectives, so I keep myself in focus. And
we had this. We had it. There it is. Okay, we had it for a second.
yeah, and then this is like, I haven't done too much. Oh, here's that idea I had that I did over there. Yeah.
Very cool.
And this is me. I'm gonna do the warp tool and hopefully get some of that going.
Very nice.
Maybe.
So absolutely, you definitely do it by hand first.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
All right.
But that's more to just get like the super initial thoughts out. After that, I typically jump on the computer pretty quickly.
So Daniel's asking, which is the best, or maybe that wasn't Daniel, but someone just asked, which is the best tool for the design challenge? The one that you're most comfortable in. Because again, it's about ultimately your design. We're not looking for necessarily which application you created in because we're only going to see the final piece anyway. And Yolanda, thank you. I'm glad you think that this is so cool. We think it's pretty cool too. And great to see so many of you. Ronnie was asking earlier, how many people watch this? And I see over 1,400 people watching right now.
Wow, cool.
So a lot of people are interested in what you're going to come up with here.
Nice.
The one you've never used before, that's kind of, you must want to win the challenge,
Yeah.
right? Tell the other person, use the application you're not familiar with. No pressure.
Cool. Okay, which ones are you guys liking better, top or bottom? They're very similar.
Oh, for me, it's the top. I can see the difference right away.
You like the top better?
I like the top better.
I'm kind of digging the bottom better. Well,
Of course.
what does the
You're the designer, so I'm going to pick the opposite of what I think.
No. Is anyone saying anything? No, top.
Oh,
I
see,
don't know, guys.
top,
I don't know.
top.
All right. Well, Frederick's got my back.
Frederick got your back up. Bottom,
Okay, cool.
left bottom.
Well, let's go for this for now.
I see more tops than bottoms.
All right. Make a combo.
Oh, the bottom's making a comeback though.
I really like this.
Christy
G.
says make a combo.
Yeah, I wonder if we can. Or if they'll be too different.
Kevin, hype the top.
Let's just see what this looks like.
Definitely top left. I agree. Mitch Smith, top. See, I have some fans out there that want the
All
top.
right, let's just do the top one then.
You know, so many people can't be wrong.
Yeah, I know. Okay.
Actually, we can be.
So again, this is just a super sketch. Like I'll probably go in and really refine.
Notice
this
how you
later,
caved to
but-
peer pressure on your logo, on your
did,
design.
I
Like,
did.
come on, man, you should make this the one you want.
Yeah,
But you did ask.
I did. Okay. Yeah, I'm not liking how sloppy this is. Okay, I'm gonna jump into InDesign.
Designing by committee, the worst. Emily says that. I agree.
It's true.
Still people saying the top.
All right.
But again, at the end of the day, it's your brand.
Yeah, I might go back. We'll see. Okay.
Brian agrees with you. Bottom left.
All right. Thanks, Brian. Oops. I also hate working with margins and columns, but I don't know. That might just be me.
All right, so I'm gonna, because you kind of did that behind the scenes, so I just want to make sure everyone understood.
Oh.
So you have switched from Illustrator over to InDesign. Why?
Because I find it more precise when laying out type, and so
Really?
yeah, and I'm gonna recreate that logo in InDesign, which might seem kind of unnecessary, but now I'll know.
Wow,
Like,
that's a first.
well,
I've
now
never
I
seen
know how
someone say
exactly
that.
how
That's
big
great.
it is. So then when I use it in other applications, it'll all be consistent. Because sometimes when I make it in Illustrator, it's really fast and sketchy and like it's already vectorized. And
Sketchy.
so
That's
or
what you did there.
created outlines. Yeah. But yeah, so gonna do it again.
All right, so we talked about this earlier before the stream. So a lot of people always ask, if I already know Illustrator or Photoshop, why would I use InDesign? Like, why do you use InDesign at all?
I use it for documents, for like things that are going to be printed. It's just really good with type. There's so many options. Like, I feel like InDesign's menu up here can be like a void, but just because there's so much in there. But it can be really precise, and it's nice to like keep everything. As I've said, I'm a perfectionist, and it's nice to keep it all like making character styles and paragraph styles. You can like make sure everything is exactly the same and how it should be.
Very cool.
So,
And that's another good point, is that because you mentioned the typography, which was always been InDesign's strong suit. It's been over 10 years, so it's got to be over like 12, 13, 14 years now. And InDesign, so the typography features that Illustrator and Photoshop are just now getting, InDesign has had for a decade. So that's why people tend to do InDesign, definitely for longer documents, and definitely for where type matters, because it's always just had better typography than any other application out there. That's what it was really started with. But definitely documents that are longer, and if you're looking for how to get started with InDesign, I did a pre-show yesterday here on Adobe Live. You go to our YouTube channel, or actually you can watch it here. You can watch the replay here at behance.net/live. If you go to the previous day, you can see what I did yesterday if you're wanting to know how InDesign works.
All right. Don't know what that is. Close. Okay, so now I'm gonna redo all this type again.
And InDesign is a layout tool, so it's just easier to focus on the layout as opposed to creating the actual art. So I'm just adding on to what I saw in the chat there. Where can you find Capture? You can find it on either, if you're on iOS or iPhone, iPad, you can find it on the App Store. If you're on Android, you can find it on the Google Play Store. So, Lashani, if I'm saying that correctly, is asking, is it recommended to self-brand your resume as a graphic designer?
Absolutely. Yeah. A resume, when you're applying for a job, a resume is your first impression on your potential new employer, and you want to make the best impression you can. So having everything consistent as a system, having like your business card match your resume, match your cover letter, which was hopefully written on a letterhead that you designed, that's
So really,
necessary.
the resume is just part of the whole brand package.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Uses all the same fonts. Again, if you're making it in InDesign, which I feel like you should be doing it all.
You're really an InDesign fan.
I love InDesign, yeah.
For us. We're not paying him to say this. It's coming out of his mouth. He's really an InDesign guy. I like that. I think Dana asked earlier if you went to design school.
I did.
We did talk about that.
I went to Philadelphia University, which is now Jefferson University. Yeah, it was a great experience. It's a really small school on the east coast of the U.S. Yeah.
All right. Lots of InDesign love in the chat.
Yes.
And Lashani, that's what we're here for. We're here to answer your questions as best we can. Daniel says in Philly, it's very hard to navigate the street grid.
You think? I was just thinking,
I've not
this is my
driven
first
in
time in
Philly
San
very much, so-
Francisco, and I thought that this was kind of a lot harder. The grid just doesn't really make sense here. It goes all diagonal for no reason out of nowhere, but...
So Janek's asking, which is your favorite Adobe program?
That's a great question.
It's like favorite child. I mean,
I
it's kind of
know.
hard to pick.
I've been using Photoshop the longest. I like to do all my initial work in Illustrator, and my perfectionist comes out in InDesign, so...
You know, and that's interesting because I hadn't thought about it. Hadn't thought about that question in relationship to longest. So if I had to think about which Adobe program I've used the longest, it's probably the one I use the least now. I've used Illustrator the longest,
Really?
then InDesign second longest,
Really? Photoshop last?
and then Photoshop. Yeah, because I didn't get into Photoshop until much later in the game. And now I'm mostly Photoshop and Lightroom. So it just, the longest doesn't necessarily mean it's your favorite anymore.
Yeah, that's true. I'd still say Photoshop's my favorite.
Oh, yeah,
It
yeah,
could be
yeah.
quick and dirty, and like you can get it
Yeah.
over with real quick. If you like need to make something,
Well,
like
I
all
like-
my Instagram posts are usually
Sometimes I
from-
will do something quick in Photoshop because I can manipulate the photos the way I want. And since my stuff is more photo-based than it is vector or graphic-based, Photoshop becomes a natural for that. But I still love InDesign. I've been with InDesign since day one.
No, I have an
And
InDesign
even
question.
PageMaker before that. What's
Do
your
you
question?
know? Are you able to create outlines from
Yes, you
type?
can.
Okay, how do
Under
you
your
do
type menu.
that?
And... Dun, 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 dun. I know you can do it.
Oh, it's right here.
Yeah, I was
Okay,
going to say,
cool,
I know
found
it's there.
it.
Yeah.
Cool.
So the question was, can you create outlines from type like you can in Illustrator in InDesign? And yes, the answer is yes to that. So what that does for those of you who are new to graphic design is that when you type something in any application, you're using whatever font you used, so whatever it is. So if you were to send that off to someone in the native document, they would need that font to be able to work with that type. But if you create it as outlines, now you're turning that type into a graphic. So the benefit of the graphic is you don't need the font anymore. You can manipulate the graphic any way you want, but you also lose the ability to change the type because it's no longer type anymore. So you got to kind of be sure, or at least make a copy of it, so that way you have the type to always go back to, and you have the outlines to continue to manipulate. Daniel says he started with Photoshop back in 1999. It's hard for me to remember the year, so maybe that's a good question for the chat. What was your first Adobe application you used, and what version was it? So let's see what answers we get there.
Oop. Oop. Touching mouse.
Yeah, the scroll on the Magic Mouse is very sensitive in InDesign specifically, I know. Illustrator 2017, fairly new. Photoshop CS3, Photoshop 1.0, Photoshop 2.0, Photoshop 4.5. Lots of Photoshops were their first applications all the way back to, I think, Photoshop 1.0 was the first one I saw.
Wow.
Earliest one I saw, I mean. PageMaker, yeah, that was my first as well, even when it was Aldus before it was Adobe. Or before Adobe acquired Aldus. Photoshop, lots of Photoshop 1.0. See, I was using PageMaker before Photoshop. I was using Illustrator before PageMaker, so Illustrator was definitely my first. Illustrator 88, yep, I'm right there with you. PageMaker to Quark to InDesign. That's a natural transition.
Is it this one I want?
Oh, some of my PageMaker peeps are here. Photoshop 3. I started with Photoshop 2.0. And it was right before it went to 2.5. So I didn't really spend a lot of time in 2.0 before getting 2.5. And then, of course, the rest is history. Etch a Sketch. Illustrator Queen.
Where is...
Fireworks CS4. That was your first application? Wow. First Adobe application, I should say. So we have a lot of younger users here that are using, like, starting with the CS versions, and then we have some people that have been here for a while and using all the way back to Photoshop 1. So you got kind of a very mixed audience of users.
Cool. Why is it not letting me do this?
Jason's asking me, how did I become a trainer? Actually, I started as in design. Technically desktop, back in the day, desktop publishing. And I just wasn't aggressive enough in finding clients and going out and doing real design work, and I had no real training in it. But I really grasped the applications. And so it's easy for me to explain how an application works than it is for me to design something. So that's where my design my lack of design kind of led me to just, you know what, I'm not as good as doing what he's doing, but I can certainly show him how the application works. So that's how it started.
Cool. Okay. Got that.
Mitch is asking, am I up for a Lightroom question? Sure, let's hear it. Well, Jason, thank you. I'm glad you learned a lot from me over the years. I guess one of my strengths is that I can take technology that's sometimes complex and make it simple. So that's my superpower. And Gerald's asking, what are your favorite keystrokes and why?
Mine?
Yeah.
Definitely. Well, in Illustrator, I always snap to grid and show the grid, just because, again, I'm a perfectionist. Everything must go to the grid. Or it doesn't have to, but in my head, it just makes it like, oh yeah, I'm making the right decision because it's snapping to the grid and it looks good. Right. So it's like the right thing to do.
And that snap to grid would have never been my first.
No?
So it's the difference.
Yeah, working outside of the grid just gives me anxiety. I don't know. Okay, so what
all right, what's your next favorite keyboard? Like, you're always using the same keyboard shortcut?
I really don't use keyboard shortcuts that much. Yeah, I'm more of a mouse guy.
Okay.
Yeah. Which I know can kind of be annoying whenever I'm in the studio, just because I'm always like click, 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 and everyone around me is just typing. But
and David, yeah, I agree with you, David. Command Z, undo.
All right, so.
And Fernando's also asking, what's your favorite font and why? I don't know if I have a favorite font.
I always it
fonts
changes.
I use a lot, then it changes. Yeah,
Yeah.
it changes over time.
Right now, I'm really liking the one that I started with yesterday. I think it's called HK Gothic. It's more of a display typeface, but it's really nice. Oh, Din is my favorite, like, fallback.
Do you ever
Always
go
there.
back and like look at work you've done and say, "Oh my God, how did I do that or use
Yeah,
that font?"
everything was a knockout in
Yeah.
Din whenever I was in school.
So, yeah, I would say favorite fonts are more like trends. In other words,
Yeah.
you don't keep the same favorite font forever. You use it for a while, use it to death, you get tired of it.
Oh, yeah.
You discover something new, and then that becomes your favorite.
Yeah, Herm. I don't know if it's pronounced Herm or Hermy.
Yeah,
Hurme. I use that one a lot too.
Okay. Sometimes it's also, my favorite ends up being what was in the recent, like at the top, because your recent fonts are always at the top now in the Adobe application,
it's
so I end up
easier,
using
yeah.
the same ones over and over again, just because it's quicker to get to. Do you prefer sans serif or serif?
It depends on the project.
That's a good answer.
And I like to mix them too. If like I'm going to be using a lot of sans serif fonts for like headlines and display faces and stuff, I typically like to use a sans serif a serif for like body copy and vice versa.
All right, and Rocky says, completely agree. Favorite fonts usually last like 6 to 12 months for me. Haha.
Oh no, why'd it cut me off? That's weird. Do you know why I did that?
I didn't see it.
I took it from InDesign. It's like cutting it there. That's weird.
And you took it where?
To Illustrator. Well, I mean, it's just to lay it out, and then I'm going to go back to InDesign, so I guess it doesn't really matter.
So we talked about this earlier. Now we're going to see if this works. Click on it in InDesign.
Oh, right.
We're going to try the library thing.
Yeah.
All right, go to your window menu
Okay.
and come down to
Libraries?
Yeah, CC libraries. Some apps are called CC libraries, some apps are called libraries. You can create a new library if you want for the stream, or you can put it in my library. It's up to you.
Yeah, that's
All right,
fine.
so just click the plus sign in the bottom left. Is it selected
Oh,
first?
there we go.
There we go. And add it. Yep. All right, so now if you go to Illustrator after a few seconds, it should be there. In Illustrator's library under the window menu. And see, Illustrator calls it libraries.
Okay.
I'm speaking to you, CC teams. Why do you make them different just to confuse us? All right, now try and drag that over and see what happens. Yeah, came over that way.
Yeah,
Oh no, it's still cut off.
But that's all right.
Well, wait, is it because the frame is too small in InDesign? Let's go look at that frame. Even though it shows, it's
probably,
the frame is technically the frame's cutting it off, even though it shows outside the frame. So that's an InDesign quirk. Try it now.
Okay.
Yep, there you go. That should work.
Should I do the libraries?
Either way,
Okay.
copy paste or library. Because technically it was cut off, but InDesign still shows it. And there it is. So it was the frame.
Oops.
Michael got the joke there.
What was the joke? I didn't get the joke.
Quark.
Oh,
Quark.
close enough. Okay.
All right, where are we on time? Let me get out of this. So you asked how does the time go by quickly? We're already almost an hour into it.
Wow.
Yeah, so time does go quickly.
Cool.
Almost time for socks. And Dana even used my spelling. That was awesome. Oh, I'm sorry. Mitch Rice, you keep asking a question I keep ignoring. It's because I don't see it. So ask it one more time. I don't have the ability to scroll back. I guess I could if I brought it up over here, but... All right, so let's see if I can find your question, Mitch. I don't mean to ignore you. All right, there it is. So Mitch is asking me that Lightroom question. So he's asking, what's the best way to manage preview files on large catalogs? I don't build one, I can just tell you what I do. I don't build one-to-one previews for every single image. I let them come in as standard previews, and I build them as I preview them. Then if I let Lightroom do its job, which is to clean up previews I haven't used in a while by optimizing your catalog under the file menu, that kind of takes care of streaming down or cutting down the number of previews that you actually have. I do build smart previews for just about everything, though, because smart previews come in handy when the actual image isn't with me at all times. So like there are images that are back home on my server that I don't have with me now, but if I built a smart preview, then I can still use and edit and access that image. So sorry I missed your question earlier, but that is how I handle previews for large catalogs. I have over 200,000 images in my Lightroom catalog.
Wow.
And previews, I let them manage themselves basically by optimizing the catalog on a regular basis. Kevin's asked, what is a good design? Or what is good design? How do you make design decisions?
It's a deep question.
That is a deep question. That's why I asked you.
Good design. Something that can really make someone stop and look at it. Like, say you're walking down the street and you see something that catches your eye. That could also be bad design, I guess. But maybe something that triggers something inside of you.
Well, something that catches your eye doesn't necessarily have to be bad design because it triggered something.
Right.
It caught your eye for some reason, even though you might not like the actual use of it, but there's something about it you like that you want to potentially recreate.
And being a graphic designer, you're kind of like a communication designer. You are a communication designer. So good design is effectively getting the communication across. Whatever that may be.
And so Kathleen's asking, are you back to Illustrator now, or are you still in
I am in
I see
Illustrator,
Illustrator
yeah.
CC
And
at
then
the
I'm going
top.
to go back to InDesign again.
So just kind of remind us when you switch and why you switched.
Okay.
Like when you go back and forth.
Well, I can tell you, I went back to Illustrator now because, so I sketched out the logo in Illustrator, and then I went to InDesign to finalize the logo and to like really make sure that everything was precise. And then I went back to Illustrator because now I'm laying out the pattern.
So that was when you were bringing it from InDesign back to Illustrator. It was cutting it off because of the frame.
Right, yeah.
So you did the work in InDesign that you wanted, brought it back to Illustrator now so you can finish working on the whole project. Okay.
Yep.
Good design is like an algebra question. I like that. Because we use algebra in our everyday lives.
I love algebra. I love math in general, but I don't really ever do it anymore.
I know,
It's cool, but
that was the joke.
It's cool.
Kathleen says, I think good design communicates clearly, whatever that means. And Lee's asking, are you doing a tutorial? What are you doing? Is this a tutorial? Lee, Ronnie's actually redesigning his brand. So he's starting with the logo first. $200,000 images. How many backups you keep of that catalog? Well, I always tell people to make sure that you have anything important, whether it's the catalog, the images themselves, videos, whatever it is, to have 3 copies of everything at all times, and one of those copies should be stored offsite. So that is my rule for backup. So 2 local copies, 1 the original, 1 the backup, and then the third one offsite. Always have backups, that's right. Best offsite backup. I was using CrashPlan. They're now moving away from allowing regular individuals or consumers to use their service. So I am switching, hopefully, over to Backblaze. That is the one I'm targeting for this year. And let me go look at the entries. Ooh, lots of entries. All right, so let's take a break real quick. And let me bring up some of these entries so that we have them to look at. Hang on for a second here. I'm queuing up a few of these entries that you guys have submitted so that we have them to show. Just bear with me for a second here. People have submitted all kinds of links from all kinds of places. Dropbox, Creative Cloud, Behance, Google Drive. Oh, I kind of like this one. Can I make that bigger though? Let's see. Ah, there we go. Cool. I know which one I'd pick to win, but it's not my choice. Lots of good entries, so thank you everyone for playing along. We have time, so I'm just going to look at these real quick first. Let me get these ready. Let's close this. Close that. Close this one we already saw. Okay. All right, I think I'm ready for you to switch over to me so we can show some of these entries. All right, Ronnie, take a break for a second. Let's look at some of these.
Oh, cool.
So there's so this is for the design challenge using whichever Adobe application you want to create an album cover for the fictitious band San Fran. So here's one of the entries.
Very cool.
San Fran, no name needed. I like that. Parental advisory. Very cool. Very nice. And this was a two-parter, I think.
Ooh.
That and that. Okay, and this one I have to scroll.
That's pretty.
Actually, I guess I could. Can I do that? Yeah, I can do that. Cool. Very nice. Very pretty. Same one. I open twice.
Nice.
Nice.
I like the
Very
layers.
retro. I like the
Yeah.
upside down A. Very cool.
Wow, these people work quick.
Yeah, and they're good.
Yeah. Nice.
I was going to say I didn't see the San Fran at first, but it's right there. Good. Very artistic.
Did you guys give him the album name too?
Yeah,
Or-
just San Fran. That was it.
I like the Chasing Dreams.
Yeah,
It's
Chasing
nice.
Dreams. And I love the art here. The compositing is awesome. Very nice ideas. And I think that was my last one for now. We have more, but just we're going to show more later. All right, back to you.
Cool. All right, so I'm almost done with this one, kind of. I didn't realize there's so many E's in Ronnie Alley design.
All right, I'm queuing up some more that we're going to show at the end. Let's make sure I got everybody's. I missed a couple earlier. Ooh, that's a nice one. I did miss that one earlier. Don't no peeking.
Sorry.
No peeking. Very cool. So if I missed you, I will come back to yours in just the second time around. Very nice. Lots of entries, lots of good entries too. You're gonna have a hard time picking from all these. I would have a hard time picking from all these. These are good. All right, tell us a little bit more about what you're doing.
So I'm trying to make just a random assortment of all the letters that are in Ronnie Alley design to make a attention-grabbing back for a business card. And it's harder than I was expecting it to be. Trying to make it all like equally spaced, and I guess we can turn that off too. Not unbalanced.
Okay, looks like it's time for a random giveaway. Random giveaway time.
Are they getting socks?
Oh, let's pick. What do they get? So we're gonna do a Photoshop pillow, an AI pillow, or socks. Notice how this is all like sleepwear. Just
Yeah,
like,
it's pretty nice.
You're working too hard. You should sleep. All right. So I don't know if I'm doing this or if Adobe Live's doing this. I think Adobe Live's doing it, and I'm just going to announce it. Correct. Okay. I got the thumbs up from the production. All right. So let's give away the socks. We'll do that first. Yep. Awesome. So, if you want to win, got to say something in the chat. Hype it up. Hype it up. Let's do it. Say whatever you want, but socks.
Are they soft? They're soft.
They are soft. They're
Soft
nice.
socks.
They're actually good socks. Hype, hype, hype. Hype it up. I like the green screen effect on the socks. That's awesome.
Oh.
They're transparent. It's awesome. Oh, the chat's going crazy.
Wow.
This is what happens when 2,000 people want to win socks.
Yeah, right?
I'm surprised it didn't distinguish between the pillow and the blue screen, but okay. All right. I may have to go look at this on...
Wow.
I don't know how I'm ever going to see the winner. There's so much hype going on. Yeah. The winner's just going to scroll right by. All right. You can Slack it to me too, Gus. I've got Slack open. All right. The winner's coming in. And it is Lucien Moldovan. Lucien Moldovan. Yes, the chat's nuts. I could never see it. So that is our winner, Lucien Moldovan. If I'm saying that correctly, Lucien Moldovan has won
Congrats.
the Adobe socks. And I think we're still going to give away a couple pillows too, so stay tuned.
Yeah.
All right, you can calm down unless you're giving thanks to our praise to Lucien. The socks are spoken for. And put the socks aside now. And we'll do the pillows next. Not now. Not now. We'll do the pillows in a few minutes. All right.
All right, so I'm back in InDesign.
Back in InDesign, designing.
Yes, making it more final
Save
now.
your pillow hype for later.
Yes.
Tim says add some color to that.
Oh, I'm gonna. It'll be there.
Oh, yeah, we saw the color panels earlier, so.
Yeah.
I have no
I'm trying
doubt.
to decide if, Can I show over to my personal work again?
Absolutely.
Okay, cool. So I do these color and composition studies where I cut paper, and I'm trying to decide if I want to have. I'm going to be doing it for the brand at some point. I just don't know if I'm going to have it be on the back of the business cards, or if the business cards are going to be flat color, and then like that'll be like the back of the letterhead or resume or like promotional pieces. So there will be color. It may be a pattern. It may just be flat for the business cards at least. Let's just take all of them. Can I put a color palette in my library?
Absolutely. Well,
Or do I have to make
yes.
like the scheme and then put it in my library?
yes and no.
Okay.
Is that an image?
No,
Or
these are
those
these
little
are just
individual
squares.
swatches.
Yeah.
Okay, so what you can do in the library,
Mm-hmm.
bring up the library panel again.
Is it over here?
It
Or
might-
should I?
I can't see over
Yeah,
there. So
I can't either. It's
yeah,
really
see
small.
our
There
libraries.
it is.
Yep, it's over there. So if you click on one of those colors,
Mm-hmm.
you can click the plus to add it, and you can add it as a fill color. So
Okay.
not the graph. So
I can't
you
like
don't-
select all of them though.
You can if we probably do that in InDesign. We can probably.
Okay.
It's all
Yeah,
separate
I'll
things.
just
Yeah.
I'll just do it my.
You can't
how
add the
I
colors
do
that
it.
way.
I just do like this
I'm
and
not
then.
trying all at once. You know what?
Oh.
Hang on. Select all of them. I want to go back to Illustrator for a second.
Okay.
I want to see.
Well, I know that you can make a color scheme in Illustrator with all the colors.
Yeah, select all of
selected.
them and then go to library to add. I want to see what happens.
That one's not library. That one's not library. Okay. It's over there somewhere, but I'll just
Yeah.
go over it to this again.
It's the little CC icon over there. On the
Oh, I see.
And click the plus sign again.
Came in as a graphic.
Yeah, but hang on. I just want to see. If you click the plus sign one more time. Yeah, it doesn't separate them out because they're all selected together. I wonder if you made it one. Okay, I have to experiment with that. I think there's a way to do it if you combine them all as one vector. Someone used our faces on the album cover. That's cool. Someone's trying to get brownie points for that. All right, let's see what's going on with the chat here. So Max is asking a good question. Do you ever use? Oh, he's asking a different question. I'm going to ask you. Do you ever use Adobe Bridge?
No.
And so Max is asking, I can't figure out why I would need to use Adobe Bridge in my workflow. So think of Bridge. I would say there's probably less use for it now that we have libraries, but before libraries, I used to use it all the time in design work to preview the contents of a folder. So like if a client sent me over logos and things to look at, and I didn't have libraries to put them in back then, I could use Bridge to just see everything that's in that particular folder without having to import it into anything. That's the beauty of Bridge, is that it is a file browser. Today, definitely I use it less than I used it years ago because we have libraries and I can now just add those things to a library and see them in all my applications. Bridge was also a great way to preview things before I placed them in InDesign.
This is so bright. That's kind of cool though.
So I agree there are certainly less uses for Bridge than there were, but there are people that use it all day, every day.
Cool.
Never really got the hang of it. Bridge was good to preview presets in After Effects. It still is. Yep, that's what it is. Heidi is right. Bridge is a preview. It was also, before Lightroom, and still is, a good way to apply camera raw to multiple images at one time. But again, I do that now in Lightroom. So like I said, I have less use for it than I did back in the day. Okay. It is time. We have so many entries to go through for the design challenge.
Oh, cool. Are we doing them now?
So it is time we're going to look at some new ones. We're going to have you go through all of them. So kind of keep the ones in mind that you like.
All right.
And then we'll have you pick one. So let's switch over. And we might look at some last minute ones before you decide. But if you have one in mind that you want to keep in mind, just let me know.
All right.
All right. So here's one.
That's nice.
Right.
Ooh.
Ooh, yeah, I like the mood of that one.
Yeah.
Very cool. Very nice work. All of these are really nice work.
That's cool.
Yep. We saw that one already.
Nice.
Nice work with type. This one definitely has that San Francisco feel to it, or California feel to it, I should say. Story of a band. I like that. Best hits rock music.
Nice. Well, that's cool.
I like that. I'm not picking though. So
Yeah,
it doesn't
some
matter.
people
It doesn't
really,
matter what I like.
Blow my mind with their digital illustrations. Like,
Yeah, very cool.
oh, hey, it's us.
It's us.
We're in a band.
Gratuitous use there.
Cool.
Fran Harris lives in San Francisco. Featured big city horns. Very nice. Bridging the gap. I like that.
Clever.
You guys are very creative. I love this.
Oh, nice. I like how simple it is.
All right. Are you feeling one in particular?
I
yet?
like this one. Yeah.
Okay.
I like two so far.
Two so far, okay.
This one's really cool. Nice. Cool. Very San Fran.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, I like this too. All right.
You got a hard job
I
today.
know.
I've seen about 5 I would pick, but
Oh, nice. I like the illustration.
you guys knocked this out of the park. This is definitely one of my favorites.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Trying to figure out what kind of music that would be.
Yeah.
Cool.
Some of these we saw already, but we're just recapping.
I like how simple this one is.
Mm-hmm.
This one too. It's nice.
So that
I still
one.
don't know how
Yep.
this person made that so fast.
I got it. Oh, hang on. Let me close the second one.
That one's nice.
Good. Good. Great. Vector work. We saw that one.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that was it. That goes to my Behance next. Okay.
Cool.
We'll probably take one more look at some new ones that come in after that. And, yeah, some new ones have come in. So if if we have a few more at the end, and then that's it. We'll have you pick a winner.
Cool. Sounds good.
Rob Zilla's in the house. What's going on, Robert? Yeah, I agree, Adobe Live. Nice work, everyone. Great job.
Yeah.
And I still missed a couple. Hang on, let's get these up here. Okay, that one we saw already. So Monica's asking, what's something that every young designer should know?
The importance of the internet and to put yourself on it.
What do you mean by that?
Um,
What do you mean the importance of the internet?
like putting yourself on the internet. Like it's
Like
just
how?
an avenue of getting yourself to like a global audience, usually for free, if not very cheaply, and just the opportunities that it can bring you from that.
So does that mean?
And really nurturing it too, like
Does that
not
mean-
having it be an afterthought, like, oh, I have to go update my Instagram because I feel the need to. Like, you should treat it like an actual extension of your brand and your business.
So does that mean social media, your own
Social
website,
media,
your own
website.
online portfolio, or all of the above?
All of the above. And communicating with people, entering competitions, which I always find online. Yeah. And also something they should know is to not, like, still remember how to use your hands, because hand-done things...
So you
that add
mean
another
actually
layer, so-
creating stuff by hand instead of digital?
I try to keep it about half and half
Okay.
with my stuff. Even though it's been all digital today, but tomorrow there'll be some hand stuff. So
That's another good use for Capture, by the way. So if you guys are creating stuff by hand, Capture can bring it in. One of the modules in Capture is to convert something into a shape. So it can take something you drew by hand and allow you to create vector art from it. Monica says, awesome advice.
thanks.
Aren't competitions spec work? No spec.
What does that mean? Not necessarily. I don't know. What is spec work? What do you mean by that?
I'm just repeating the question.
Yeah.
All right. It is almost time for some more hype. Not yet. Not yet. Not yet. Wait a second. Let me get the rest of these entries open first. All right. Gus, I know you can hear me. What I'm going to have you do is we're going to start some hype in just a second. And we're going to give away not one, but 2 pillows.
Oh,
All right,
man.
here we go. Pillow hype. Starting 3, 2, 1. Photoshop. Gus is going to pick a Photoshop pillow winner and an Illustrator pillow winner. Starting now. Pillow hype. Let's see if 2,000 people can break. Let's break the chat.
That's crazy.
They're very soft. Very nice. Keep that. Come on. Pillow hype.
Come on,
I'm
guys.
I saw more sock hype than this. This is like the chat's just going at a regular speed. I wanted to go by so fast, it's just blurred. That's better. Okay, I see more pillow hype coming in now. All right, you have sufficiently satisfied my hype requirements. Gus, do we have a winner? Gus is typing. That means we have at least one winner. Which one are you going to give away first, Gus? Let's do the, I don't know, you pick one. Photoshop maybe first, and then the Illustrator pillow. Oh, he did them both. So Kent William Albin for Photoshop. So Kent William Albin has won this one. And for the Illustrator pillow, it is Jet Landis. Jet Landis won the Illustrator pillow, and those will be,
Yay.
shipped out to you some way. That happens in the background. I have no idea how that works. But okay, the pillow. You can stop the pillow hype. We already got our winners. We got our winners for the socks. We got our winners for the pillows. Last but not least, Ronnie's going to pick one for the design challenge.
Yep.
And someone said, "Can't believe." Yes, I believe that was Kent. Nice, Kent. You won. So once again, the winners are Kent William Albin for the Photoshop pillow and Jet Landis for the Illustrator pillow. Congratulations. Pillow fight. Who said that? Who said pillow fight? That was a good one. Very timely. A ton of entries for the design challenge. It's going to be the hardest part of the day. All right, a couple more stragglers just came in. I like that one.
Oh, no peeking. My bad.
No peeking. All right, so you're doing this kind of retro, extended, rad look. That used to be like, I'm gonna really date myself here. That was an effect in freehand back in the day.
Yeah, I'm not.
That I probably overused.
I'm not feeling it, so no longer gonna do it.
Oh no, you're getting hyped there.
You guys like it?
I'm digging the new version.
Yeah,
Jet
sorry,
says.
Congratulations,
Jet, on winning your pillow.
What can I do next?
Okay, and you got a technical question. Anna's asking, how did you do the step and repeat?
It was a process. So first I started with laying out the type, which was this right here. And then I duplicated it by, Command C, Command F.
There's also Command D, I believe, for Illustrator to duplicate. Let me see.
Oh, yep.
It's been a while since I've done that command. Let's see if that works. So it's like basically do it again.
Mm-hmm. Which is nice. I actually did do that just recently for
so
this guy.
If you can switch to me, Paco, for a second. So one way to do it, I'm just doing it with a rectangle here in Illustrator. If you hold down your Option or Alt key and to drag something, that will duplicate it. So if I come down this way. And so that I don't have to do it again and get it exact, I can just hit on the Mac Command D, PC Control D, and that will duplicate. That will basically do it again. It will do the same thing you just did precisely one more time. So I just keep hitting Command D. Yep, duplicate your last action. All right, back to you.
Cool. Yeah, so created the type, duplicated it, changed it to a stroke, and then it started getting messy, so I guess I could just do it again. Took this, and then again aligned it to the grid, because I have to, and then Command C, Command F, and then over a pixel, or thing, and then switch it to lines. And then this first one, it didn't look bad, it actually worked, but then when I did it again, it started getting messy, so I converted them to outlines, which there might be a command for that, might not be. Where's that? Outline stroke.
Yeah, Mary, I'm right there with you. It's stuff I learned a million years ago, but forgot, thank you. And it's like, I remember that. It's like, is that Illustrator? Yeah, Command D. I used that a million years ago.
And then I just went and deleted all the stuff that you wouldn't see anymore. Like, you won't see this. Won't see the majority of this stuff. Oh, actually. Oop.
So you're doing more than just duplicating. You're actually cutting out the pieces that you don't want to overlap.
Yeah.
So he's going hardcore with it.
Yeah, because, I mean, the way I did it the first time was that I had a white fill on it, which does the exact same thing, and it's a lot easier. So you can't see behind it. But then once I knew that I was going to have backgrounds, like, colored like this, and I could probably just multiply the layer, now that I'm thinking about it, in InDesign, and that would do the same thing without me having to cut it, but I don't know, I wanted to be more precise and have it just be the vector, so. Yeah.
Also, when you use a transparency effect like that, it may not work across everything that you're going to ultimately use it for. May or may not. It just depends on what you're going to do with it.
Yeah.
So you did it actually the better technical way to do it.
Yeah. So yeah, that was that. Trying to think what I should do next. I mean, I'm not entirely sold on my logo yet, so I might keep finagling.
Well, it
with
is
that.
your logo, so you're the one who has to be sold on it.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna try a couple of versions. Oh, that's locked.
All right, so in about 5 minutes, we're going to wrap up the design challenge. Let me see if I got any more last minute entries that popped in. Ooh, some more. Jesus Christ, a lot more. Come in. All right, the deadline has happened. So we got them all. Let me just make sure I get them all open. Adobe Live has spoken. Oops, can't find that page. Hate when that happens. Let's just make sure. I'm doing my best not to miss anyone's entry, so just double, triple checking here. Ooh, I like that one. I've been saying that a lot. All right, Gus, I think we're going to have to come up with a better way to do this in the future. Especially for so many entries. And the problem is they're all linked to different places. Yeah, they are creative with the names of the albums.
Yeah.
They're getting very creative with that. It's pretty cool. All right, more just keep popping in. All right, but I think we're gonna cut off at the deadline for now, and we'll add the rest to the second segment. Just let me go through them real quick. See if I duplicated anything or missed anything. All right, Ronnie.
Yes.
Where are you? What's still?
I'm just finagling another logo.
And are you still in Illustrator?
Yes, still in Illustrator.
So tell us why you're finagling another logo. What happened?
Because
You just weren't feeling it?
Well, I feel like you should never just stick with your first try on a logo. It's
Okay.
always nice to have like a couple of options. And yeah, the way that it was going on this business card, it just could have been a little bit more refined. So just trying something else.
And how much time for a client logo would you say you spend?
Depends on the client. Sometimes they need a logo by the end of the day. Sometimes they need a logo in a month. Yeah, it really depends. If it's one that I'm really gonna try, like it really just varies on the client.
Okay, fair enough. Okay, I think have all the entries. If I missed your entry, we will put you into the second one. So you'll still get a chance to win. But I think I got them all. So we're going to do this in just a couple minutes. So did you start from scratch, or you just used another one of the ones you had already created for the second round?
It was the same font that I used for this one. I just wanted to see how it could be if Ronnie Alley was next to each other.
Got it.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, I see what you mean.
Yeah.
All right, let's check out. Can we submit something new for the upcoming segments? Kate, just hang on for a minute. Yes, you can submit. The answer is yes. You can submit something new for the upcoming segment, but just hang on for a second. Wait till that segment actually starts before you start submitting again. Anita's asking, what's the name of the font?
This is Accidents Grotesque Extended. Another one of my faves.
Kevin's asking, where do you get most of your clients from?
Internet. They usually just find me either through Instagram or through Behance or Google. And I also work at a small studio in Philadelphia, and they get their clients and I work for them.
How often do you post to Behance?
Once every couple months. I try to, like once a season, I'd say.
Did you post something new or just...
post something new. But I'm on Behance.
I would have thought you would have posted more frequently than that.
No, I post on my Instagram a lot.
Okay.
About once a week on there.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yes, Jimmy, unfortunately, in this segment, you're too late for socks.
Oh, man.
All right, so I saw a couple questions earlier I want to come back to. So Victoria just asked this one. How do you keep confident about your design when you are new?
That's a good question. You just have to have confidence in yourself, which is a lame answer. I don't know.
I guess I would say failure is okay.
Yeah. Oh, yeah,
Because
totally.
failure is the best teacher.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you design something and everyone thinks it sucks and you can agree that it sucks, why does it suck? And then keep going from there. Then I saw another question about pricing, like how do you price your design work?
You have to know your worth, and you should try your hardest not to negotiate down as much as you can. You might lose a client, but that's okay. If they're not willing to pay for your talent, then you don't need to work.
So no bargain basement logo design work? Yeah.
No $5 logos, no $300 for a month worth of work. Like, no, don't do that. No free internships.
What if I'm new and a free internship is my way to learn? Is that okay? Or no?
I don't know. I think that's a no.
That's still a no.
If they don't want to pay you and they're not, and it's a studio, I'm not cool with that.
All right. Fair enough.
Yeah. Yeah, so I don't know what I'm doing with this line right now.
Time equal money. If people love your answers, preach. Never race to the bottom on price. No free internships. No spec work.
I wish I knew what people mean by spec work. I'm not familiar with that term.
Mitch likes your price answer.
Cool.
Someone says that free internships are okay. Good? To each his own?
Yeah. That's weird.
Kate says she likes the line around the G. It's super sexy.
Thanks. I like it too, but it's not working as well on the Y, so I might have to get rid of it or
All right, so
do something
Gareth
else.
asking you a question. So no free charity or nonprofit work either?
You could do charity, yeah, for sure. If it's something that speaks to you in a way that'll make you feel good about what you're doing, absolutely. But if it's like a business that's going to be making...
Charity begins at home. Anita's answer to that.
If a business is using you though to promote themselves and they are going to be making money, then you should also be making money.
All right, it is time for you to take a quick break.
Okay.
We're going to pick this design challenge
Cool.
person.
Let's do it.
It's entry. All right, we have more entries that we didn't see the first time. We're going to go through all of the ones that I have. If I missed yours again, Adobe Live, Gus will let me know which ones I did not actually show. So we'll use those for the next one or when I come back. But one way or the other, we will get your entry shown. All right, but for this one, these are the ones I have. So ready?
Yeah. Loving the name again. Weather the Storm.
You're going to pick the winner.
Yeah. Love it. Love the shapes. I'm all about that right now.
Okay.
That's cool.
The West Coast tour, I like that.
Ooh, that's cool too. Like the monospace type.
Yep.
House rock. Cool. That's fun. Nice. Cool. Like the colors. That's cool.
I'm going to say my opinion because I don't want to. I don't want to influence your decisions.
Oh, that's awesome. I like the varying techniques in that one.
Okay.
A little bit of hand, a little bit of computer. But I like how simple that is.
Disco and Frisco.
Nice.
The Great Fake Pan. Nicely done.
Nice. Is that a GIF? Or, wait, why is it doing that on there?
It just could be
okay.
flickering.
I was like, how are they doing that?
Because sometimes thin lines will do that.
That's cool. No name. Oh, there it is.
I'm zooming in there. All right.
Ooh, that's nice.
I could say so many things. I'm not going to. All right, that's this person if you're writing things down.
Yeah.
All great stuff, guys.
Yeah.
Very nicely
I
done.
like the gradient. I wonder if they made that type. That's cool. Are we going through all of them?
Yep,
again?
we're going through all of them
okay.
now. So some of these you've already seen.
Yeah, I really like that one and this one.
Okay. So I'll go a little faster because we've seen these already now 2 or 3 times.
That one's nice.
All good stuff. Do you have a winner in mind yet?
I got a couple.
Or at least top
tops.
choices?
Yeah.
Okay.
Man. Yeah. Okay. I think I have one.
And again, if I missed
really
yours,
like
we
that
have
one
it.
too, yeah.
It's just I failed to click the link. Okay, which one do you want to go back and look at?
I'm thinking.
Nope, that's mine. Okay, never mind.
I don't know how I'm gonna tell you which one it is up there, but it was.
But you know you'll know it when you see it.
Yeah.
All right, and quickly go back through them.
I'm really surprised by how quickly these people worked. That one was nice. That wasn't it though. Sorry.
That was nice, but you didn't win.
Nope.
Not that one?
No, it's over. It's coming up soon.
Okay.
It was white and heavy on the typography, and it was kind of like. Did you pass it?
I hope not.
Oh, there it is.
There it is. Okay, this
Yeah,
one.
that one's cool.
This is your winner?
Yeah, I really like it.
All right, let me
I
see.
like just all the typography, the images, the layering.
I'm looking for a name. I'm trying to think whose is this? Gus will know, but all right, Gus, you're gonna have to give me the name on this
Oh,
one. I'm not seeing the name.
Lucian Ferraz won, I think, according to
I
him.
won. Okay, Lucian Ferraz. I won. All right, Gus, can you confirm that? Is that his?
Oh, it is very Pixies. That's funny.
Oh, sorry about that. All right. Well, if this is yours, then you are the winner because Ronnie picked it.
Yeah.
All right. So we will figure that out. Yep, that is it. Okay, I got confirmation. You are the winner. Lucian Perez, congratulations. Congrats. Great work in a short amount of time.
Yeah.
All right. Ronnie, back to you. So we got about, I want to say 10 minutes.
Cool. Okay.
I was going to say 10 minutes. I was right.
I'll probably wrap up.
The control room has spoken.
Ooh.
And your prize package consists of whatever Gus says and his laptop. I've been trying to give away his laptop all morning. He won't let it go.
No.
Yes, we do have a control room. It's very small. It's like right there. And we're broadcasting from the Adobe offices here in San Francisco. Dama, I want a pillow. I want a pillow too. I might keep this one and we'll ship another one. But. Interesting work with the lines there.
Yeah.
I know
it's
agree,
all
I agree
exact.
though. The person that said the line was sexy when it was breaking on the G.
I know.
That was my favorite too.
I like that too, but it just didn't work with the Y. Unless I just extended it out more.
But it's your brand.
I know. Oh well, I really like it too. So I'm gonna try it again.
All right.
Let's see.
But of the two, I would say that's my favorite. Yes, if Dara, if I missed yours, it will come next time around. So sorry if I missed an entry or missed a couple of entries. We will do this again. So you have not lost completely. It's just there are some that are coming up. So Adobe Live will contact the winner on Behance with a direct message. The winner gets of that design challenge, the one that just won, and the ones that will win the future challenges coming up, gets a year of Creative Cloud.
Oh, nice.
So, depending on where you are, it's at least a $600 value. We already have a winner, so no drum roll necessary. We're just telling them what they won.
Man, this Y is so weird. What do you guys think? It's definitely not as nice as the G.
Yeah, I don't like that on. You're right. I don't like it on the Y as much. But whoa. What if you stopped? What if you took the right side of it off and left it right before the Y?
And then took this one back to
Yeah, took that one back down.
It's not bad. I'm afraid it's too much emphasis on like the Y though, or like I don't know. It's a little funky.
I saw that going differently in my head.
I know, I did too. It's a good idea, but
or maybe if the lines were thinner, I don't know.
Yeah.
No, but then they need to match.
I like them being
consistent. I saw that going differently in my mind.
Yeah.
You can pull the tail down of the Y. Someone's asking, modify the Y, modify the tail on the Y.
I could.
Yeah,
Actually,
so it matches up. I agree.
Yeah.
Good suggestions. Jet says it leads the eye back. Everyone's saying take the tail of the Y down.
Yeah.
Okay, we got that. Daniel says he doesn't think it works for you. Scrap it.
I may. Let's see. Although it is kind of cool that it's getting a little funky. I like.
Jose says the LCD conference online.
That is a little better, actually.
How would it work if it was small caps? Someone's asking.
Let's see.
Do you still have a type version, or is that outlines?
Yeah, I do up here. The one thing I don't like about small caps, though, is how it's not, like, right. Like, the medium is never exactly the same.
Mm-hmm.
But, let's see if we can do something.
What if the Y was small caps and everything else?
Everything else was regular?
That's just my interpretation of what people are saying in the chat.
Maybe that else could go small, too.
2,200 art directors at your service.
Yeah, right. I don't know. That's a little.
You kern that in a little bit. That might work.
Yeah, let's see.
You really don't use keyboard shortcuts,
I
do you?
don't. I don't know. I've always used
I'm
the mouse.
impressed.
Yeah.
Paulo says feels like a client meeting. But what if you did this?
Yeah.
What if you do that?
That's actually.
Yeah, I agree, Marcos. The Y, for whatever reason, when you went to small caps, does seem a little skinnier. But now I think you fixed it.
Yeah. Let's see. Does that look about the same as everything
Yeah,
else?
it does now. It didn't at first. I don't know if it was just the kerning or whatever it was.
I'll turn this in too. Is there a keyboard shortcut for kerning? I
Yes,
don't even know.
it is Option left and right arrow.
Really?
Yeah,
That easy?
that's easy.
Okay. Huh.
So you just put your cursor between them and hit the Option left and right arrow key. That will kern 3 minutes. Okay, we got 3 minutes left. I'm getting the virtual, not so virtual, actually real hook here that we're gonna
Let's try this.
be saying goodbye for until our next segment, which is going to be in like 5 minutes or top of the hour. So while Ronnie's kind of like still playing with ideas for his logo design, so this is what Adobe Live is like. We have real designers, real photographers, real XD and UI people, real videographers coming in and showing you their process. Their process may not always lead to a final design that they are in love with, and I think Ronnie is just still playing with his logo ideas. He will get there.
By Thursday.
But by Thursday, we will have hopefully what Ronnie likes.
Yeah.
Since it's his brand, so he is the client.
It's got to be good.
Right, it's got to be good. And of course, we will continue to do giveaways. We will continue with the design challenge. If I missed your entry, we will definitely show it in one of the upcoming segments. And up next is Chantel Jachan, if I'm saying that correctly, at 11 a.m. at the top of the hour Pacific time. And then I'll be back at 1 p.m.
Whoa. And the scroll. It's a little intense.
So people are thanking you.
Thank you,
me.
guys.
You're welcome, Marcos and Dana and everyone else.
Cool. I am actually kind of liking that now.
Uh-oh. We're getting closer.
Getting somewhere, yeah.
Hey, it was the small caps that did it. Pat myself on the shoulder there.
Yeah. Does it want to go down? Cool.
All right, so again, we're going to be cutting out just in a few seconds here. Stay tuned because we have another segment starting at the top of the hour.
Thanks,
So,
guys.
Ronnie, how was your first day?
That was fun.
Fun?
Yeah.
Went by quick?
Yeah.
Want to do it again tomorrow?
Absolutely.
So tomorrow, I don't think you have much of a choice.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
Morning at 9 a.m. We will be back with Ronnie, and stay tuned. Don't go anywhere. We will be up in just a few minutes with, oh my God, Chantel. Yes,
Yeah,
just that because I'm not hosting it. I didn't commit the name to memory. Sorry, Chantel. Chantel's right there. She's looking at me like, how could you forget my name? So Chantel, you ready? You got some cool stuff to show? Yeah. All right. So guys, you don't want to. Yes, no, thank you, brain fart. Yes, it was. Bye bye, everybody.
Bye,
We'll see you in
guys.
just a few minutes. Chantel.